Is it like this, or is it just you overflowing someone else's cup and now you're dehydrated? It's okay to put you first. It's okay to say, no, that doesn't work for me. That's not how I desire to be loved. Hey guys, welcome back to Is It Tuesday podcast. I'm Cris Cavallari. No matter how great the message is, if the delivery is wrong, people can't hear you. That is the toughest lesson I had to learn in my life since I was a child. Is that because I didn't have emotional intelligence? Like, no one taught me how to express myself in a way where it was like safe. Like, do we have to wait until it's like you're boiling and then it overflows? So I said that in the opening just to let you know this is the second. This is the start over. You have the option. And it may not seem like that because you're watching this now on a video, right? But this is the best place for you to see it. Like, you can stop, you can re-record, you can do all of these things. You can fast forward, you can do what you need to do. Only thing you can't do is really like fast forward and get over the shit. You got to go through it, okay? But if you need to stop, regroup, and get your thoughts together, that is the most mature thing that I have right now, is knowing that I can change at any given moment with the click of a button, and not just on YouTube. I can do that shit in real life. And I was looking through, first of all, the day already was like just a lot. The day's a lot. I'm not ever going to make it seem like I have it all together, because I don't. I just have the tools now. I have the tools and the really like the experience, and I can trust myself to say, nah, do it. I don't have to lie to myself. I don't have to rush just to get it done. I don't have to like move so fast just to meet a deadline that's non-existent. Like, even the deadlines that you have right now, yes, maybe at work and different things in school, but the timeline that you have for yourself is way different than the timeline that God has for you. And once I realized I'm really not in control of a lot of things, I was able to let go of that control. I literally just recorded maybe a 30-minute episode. It may not be complete trashed, and I'm sure it was a lot of great things in it, but I still felt myself towards the end tiptoeing, peeking in the room to the dark side. And as I look through my phone, because I've asked a few weeks ago, like, oh, like, what's some topics y'all want to talk about? Because I love your input. I love for you to say, hey, I would love to hear your perspective on this. I would love to hear your opinion on this. It's not law. What I say is not law. It's just how I'm feeling at the time. And I stopped the tape because I'm like, I could feel it. I could feel, you remember that little thing, maybe like the angel and the devil, like you could feel. It's really your height. That's why I want you to start envisioning. It's really where you want to go and where you've been. It's no angel or devil. It's like, this is where I'm going. I could see over here. Like, this is the life that I'm going towards. And this is the life that I've outgrown. And whether that be, just snapping, saying whatever I felt without thinking. And here's the problem with that. If I walked in, and this is trigger warning, if I walked into a crowded party, God forbid, and this happens every day, so it is the truth. If I walked into a crowded party and I seen someone that I had some static with, some beef with, whatever with, and I just went off. Trigger warning again. Say if I just started shooting. Chances of me getting it to my target is slim to none. Someone else in that crowd's going to get hit. They're going to get hurt. So the delivery, when I started realizing that a couple years ago, and it's still a struggle because I'm just used to just, I've gotten a lot better. I'm probably 90% better. Shit, I might have to say 96% better. Because I could call myself out on it like, wait a minute now. That was a little bit too, you gotta chill. It's all about the delivery. But if I came in here and I said what I was saying and I kept that recording, it could hit anybody. It could hit the production team that's watching this. It could hit anybody. And especially when I know the message that I wanted to send, but because I'm still human and my feelings are in it, it could go to a place where you're like, but you gotta remember the mission. You gotta remember what the purpose of the conversation is. That's why I say when you want to talk about something, that's cool, but it's about how you talk about it. And I got a lot of these messages like, talk about this, talk about this. Oh, I would love to hear your input about this. And they kind of like all got blended in. And I was thinking about this and I was thinking about that. And I had so much on my plate yesterday and it got done. It got done. But we operating on like 4 hours of sleep. It got done. And I think that's a lot of times where we end up messing up is because we don't give ourselves time to just recalibrate. Like, let me get myself together. Let me just take my time. Let me just woosah. Let me press pause. Let me press stop and start. I have that option and so do you. Should nothing old over here get you to leave and turn back around? Nothing should have you like, what? You're not going that way. So when I was about to talk about let's talk about this, let's talk about that. I could feel myself talking about something that bothered me, but I didn't realize it at that moment. I held on to these things, people, places, and things too long. So now when you realize that you were wronged, now you feel like you got to go back and say your piece. You don't. You don't. You ever seen a thing and they be like, man, when you finish arguing or something, you hang up and it's like, damn, I forgot. I should have said this. No, you shouldn't have. You don't have to have the last word. I've always, as a kid, I have to have the last word. Like, but what, like, I no. What about, what, but, it's funny because now if Goliath, he does this thing where he wants to compromise if it's bedtime. He's like, well, listen to what I think we should do. How about I just get to stay for another 20 minutes and get to do, and I'm like, I let him talk. And then sometimes if I'm starting to cut him off, he's like, I'm not finished. And I'm always like, and you know what I don't say? Not who you talking to. I don't say I'm the mother. I listen. Because he's teaching me something. He's teaching me that the most important thing right now is reciprocity. I said my piece. I got to let him say what he need to say. Now, he's never disrespectful, but he will say to me, like, I wasn't finished talking. You're not listening to me. And it snaps me like, he the fuck is right. I'm saying, you know what I say? What a lot of us have never heard growing up. You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. What were you saying? That's why right now, when you grow up, right, you do things and you feel like because that little you were not able to do it then, you just wall out when you get a chance. When you finally start speaking your mind, oh baby, everybody could get it. And that's not how it goes. Though even as a child, those lessons, those things that, I mean, we didn't know they was, lessons at that point, but the things that we're going through as a child, and then you become an adolescent, and then you're an adult, you don't realize how that shapes and molds you and how you react to things. And you're like, you got to start saying like, but why did I say that? Then you have to think about that time in third grade when this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. And then you start to understand like, oh, because I don't want to feel that way again. So I had to be that person. I'm looking at all these beautiful topics. And like I said, they all were mashing in together because I really wanted to say a lot of these things, they're great topics. They're amazing topics. But unless you want to look at the full picture when we had a conversation, it won't resonate. Talk about friendship breakups. Talk about spinning the block. Talk about this and talk about that and talk about this. It's like, no, let's talk about why this and that really matters to you. Let you want to talk about friendship breakups because you feel guilty for leaving these friends behind after 20 years, and you start saying like, oh yeah, but we've been friends the longest. But yeah, how many of those 20 years have you actually had a great friendship built on honesty and trust? You didn't feel like somebody was doing like you too. Now you ain't off the hook. But when we really talk about it, it's like friendship breakups are the harder. Friendship breakups are harder sometimes than a romantic breakup. You and your friend, there's things that you talk to your friends about that you do not talk to your partner about. There's things that your friend, so those friendship breakups, they hurt. They hurt because you like, oh, I thought we was both being vulnerable. I thought we were like, this was like we were locked in. Ain't this not that? This is not that though. So when someone says friendship breakups, I'm like, how was your friendship breakups in middle school? Did you feel left out? Did you feel like this? Did you feel like that? I remember I went to a sleepover, maybe fifth grade. I don't remember. Fifth grade, sixth grade. And I felt like I was being left out. And I remember like I love acting. So I would like fake had an attitude and fake cry, but it like ended up being a real thing. And I remember wanting to be accepted by these friends. I don't know who these friends are now. I mean, it was fifth grade, honestly. There's a lot of things that if you really just sit and meditate and pray on it and think about it and just kind of go back to your childhood, that you could see where these things started and how, or at least like a roundabout thing of it. You weren't really trusting yourself to decide on your own without a second opinion, without you have to talk to somebody. You got to tell somebody something and see what they think. I think the best thing to do moving forward as an adult who is now capable of protecting your little self, even if you didn't have that then, hopefully it wasn't anything too crazy. It was like life. It was really getting us prepared for the real world. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, you're going to go out into the real world and it's not going to be, everybody has a different human experience. So you're going to have to interact with different people, but it's just being honest with yourself. And I think a lot of us knew when we should have ended friendships, when we should have ended relationships, and we just gave it one more go because this is comfortable, one more go because they know all my secrets, one more go because remember that time in band camp I had $5 and you get like we have these attachments to things, and it's like, yo, people grow and they grow apart, you know. Some people are not going to even accept your growth because they're so fixated on how you used to do things. And it doesn't always have to be like a shady friendship breakup. It could really just be like, yo, y'all really just, once you realize y'all was only hanging out because y'all took lunch at the same time every day in the call center. or y'all, worked at the mall together, and it was just like, it was like real clicky, like in high school. You see the table with the Asian kids, you see the table with the emo kids, you see you see these cluster of people, and you don't realize, like, I'm tired of crying, but it's such a blessing to feel and to release. This old man just called me. He wasn't being annoying, and before I used to think he was annoying because he talks so fast and he rushes you. But I'm like, oh, maybe that's what old people do. But you have never, when you've never had someone check in and say, hey, because that's all he does. Hey, you got some stuff down here. You need me to do this? It's the little me inside, like, well, wait, I'm not alone. I'm protected. I'm safe. That's how I think about everything. If I can't feel safe and protected in your presence in a friendship, I can't be your friend. No matter how much fun we have over these espresso martinis and oysters, and we just, we love the same outfits. When I get a message about friendship breakups, I'm like, but are you really, what's your definition of a friend? We just click up because we have this one thing in common, but do they know your love language? Do they know that you need to feel safe? Or do they just assume that because you look like you got it together that you don't need an extra hug? You don't need I'm thinking about you. It's so funny that man called and checked up on me to see, and I didn't press the button on him because I know that if he's calling it's because he's checking up on me. Friendships are going to come in different forms. But in order for you to make room for the tribe that's going to really resonate with your soul, you're going to have to let go of those superficial friendships. Those friendships because it's better to be connected to you because your light is shining bright, and I need some of that light and warmth. And you can have relationships that are not, you know, you got to just categorize them a little bit differently. That man checking up on me made me cry because I just think about the times where no one checked up on me. I changed my number months ago, and I'm going to tell you something. I be like, people don't even know you changed your number because they ain't even try to call you. And then while time they try to call you 6-7 months later, now they're mad that you didn't give them your new number. Well, you didn't even try. You didn't, I'm not saying that you got to put a message in a bottle. What I'm saying is a lot of people, once you stop overly playing your part, you'll see that your part was the only part that was being played. You'll see that, hey, I'm the one calling constantly. I'm the one inviting myself to things like, oh, why y'all ain't invite me? Don't ask some motherfucker again why they didn't invite you. You were an afterthought. Enjoy yourself. I don't know. I said, I think on my live or something, that man, he's so sweet, y'all. He gets me in my feels every time. I get in my feels anyway. I love the fact that I feel. I don't want to be a hard rock when I know I'm a gem. I don't want to put up a shell because of what people came to teach me. They came to teach me to stop being an overgiver. They literally. So I don't have malice to any old relationships because what I've learned is really chef's kiss. I learned reciprocity. I've learned that, hey, I'm doing a lot and I'm getting a little. And if I'm doing that here, that means I'm doing it everywhere because what you do small, you do big. Learn to accept yourself so if others don't, you're okay with that. My phone, when it rings now, I know that it's either business or something really important with my family Maybe it's my son's school. I don't know. Maybe it's the doctors. Who knows? But it's not empty phone calls. It's not cackling. It's not, did you see what such and such? It's none of that. And sometimes you're going to feel alone because you're just used to a bunch of things and a bunch of, I need substance now. I don't need to trauma bond now. I want to find solutions. I've been the bad guy, hence the villain sleeve, because I've been a truth teller and a lot of people don't like the truth. And I don't mind somebody telling me the truth about me because I tell me the truth about me. But I know I'm going to tell you what I noticed. No one ever told me the truth about me until they didn't like something. And then I'm like, wait, so you've been felt that way? You ever have something so small, a misunderstanding so small, but then you realize how a motherfucker really feel about you? There's people that know what you've been through, and then they'll do the same thing to you. We talk about friendships, like breakups, endings, whatever you want to call it. But I want you to understand, you asked God for a prayer. You said this prayer to God. You said, God, I ask that you remove anything that's in my life that is blocking me from my blessings. I ask that anybody that is connected to me that does not see and feel my highest self, does not have me in that light, does not want the best, get them away from me. And y'all be like, oh, this gonna be funny, but whatever. Oh, he took away my best eater. No, he took away that best friend. That was that really what you may have been. They may have been your best friend. You wasn't theirs. I think I spoke about this on my Instagram live one time, but my birthday just passed and my son's birthday just passed. And there's one person without a shadow of a doubt that I thought that I would hear from, even if we didn't talk to each other in a couple months because of something that had nothing to do with him, that I didn't hear from. It's my son's birthday. It's my birthday. Instead of taking that as a oh, shade, I just realized I put this person on an invisible pedestal just like I did everybody else. And trust me, when it comes to people doing what's best for them, they're going to do it. So my only suggestion to you is do what's best for you. And that's not in a, yeah, I'm going to do, because I got to do that because that's how a lot of us think. Like, okay, I'm going to do what's best for me because that's what you're going to do. No, start putting you first. That's what they're doing. Put you first. If you're not in my household, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if you are not in my household, if I don't wake up to you and go to sleep with you, what's done outside of this household cannot and will not disturb our peace. Be careful when you saying, well, why is this and why is that? Or I need clothes. Wait a minute. Remember that prayer. So I love that y'all want more information about these breakups, but understand God heard what you didn't. God knew that wasn't what it was. You're going to have to learn to let go. You're going to have to learn to say, wow, maybe that was that answered prayer. This old man, he came and him and his wife and got me a birthday gift, and it was a money tree and it had $41 bills on it. He's like, oh, which one? I'm like, $40. He got them to make me this tree. Here he is. So I got to hold on one second. Don't let a friendship breakup keep you from letting your real tribe find you. What the hell was I crying about? Baby, I'm a cry. Let me tell you something. Some people don't want to cry. Crying is such a healing, it's such a great release because you don't even realize how much you holding on to. You don't realize things even bothered you or hurt you, or it's stored in your body. Anytime I'm happy or anything, I could cry at anything, and my son, he'll look at me and he'll be like, "You're about to cry," and I cry when I'm watching him play. I cry when I'm just like, I'm very grateful right now, and the things that allow things to come and allow them to go. Everything has a purpose and a time frame in your life, and you'll never understand it. And like right at that moment, it's always like after the fact. You can be just randomly doing something. You're like, oh, that's why I didn't get it. Oh, okay, I see now. The one person, like I said, that I thought would have at least said, "Hey, how's G doing? Hey, I haven't talked to you, even if you haven't called me back, or I haven't called you. How's school going? How's his birthday?" There's a lot of things that I had to accept, but there's all the bigger thing is I had to accept that this is how it's been, and I had my bear goggles on in friendships. Because I'm gonna be honest, I think friendships hurt me more than relationships. A lot of people don't realize your relationship and your friendships. If you want to see how one is, look at the other. If you can't trust your homegirls and everybody just like you feel, or your homeboys, because it's, a lot, we have, male and female friends, but when you start to look at things, you say, you know what, I let stuff, and I ain't gonna say trust, but you let stuff slide with them. That's why you always see people saying like, oh, she giving him chances and chances and chances, and she cut me off after, yeah, 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 and they are different. They serve different purposes for sure. Your husband is not the same as like, your coworker at work, that friendship. But we can debate about this until we're blue in the face. I don't want to come above anybody's partner. And that's the only reason I'm able to let go of the situation that I put on this pedestal, because at the end of the day, you got to you got to do what you got to do. And if I'm no longer associating myself with someone that you love and is your partner, it's only natural that you're going to die off too, because you're an extension of them. And I don't like to play defense. Like I would be like, oh, it's a crazy way to say it, but let's be honest here. It's hard to stay in a friendship with someone that is still connected to someone that you're no longer. Well, for me, it is. I don't know about for you, because some people be like, oh, I don't see no problem with still being friends with her, even though I don't, fool with her, but they best friend. I don't want any of that. Energy is transferable, and it's cool, because what people gonna say is, I mean, just don't talk to her about me, and I won't. Now you knew how y'all sat up on that phone and cackled. You've heard conversations. What makes you think you the exception and they gonna follow rule? No, I don't want to be connected to anything or anybody that's connected to something that I've moved on from. Because now we're still connected. I can't. It's hard, y'all. And I think a couple years ago, someone was like, "How do you make friends after 30?" And I'm like, "Girl, that's the problem. We think that the longer you've known somebody, the stronger the friendship is. Meet new people once you awake out of that zombie five field, and you out of the matrix. You're gonna be like, wait, we really didn't have anything in common except for where we worked at and these martinis and school and class, and we was the two that like center parts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you start to dig deeper and you start to learn things about yourself, you're going to realize that a lot of these relationships don't have enough like oof to stick to. And that's what I'm saying right now. It don't gotta be nothing like shady. It's just like we don't stand on the same code. We don't have the same morals. We don't move the same. We don't operate the same. You think that way, I think this way. So we don't have no issue, but we can't be around each other like that. Let some shit go that how you keep trying to you keep saving them pants that you knew you outgrew just because like let that shit go. Let it go. Let it go so you making room for the new. You can't get what you deserve and what you somebody said that. How do you get what you deserve? You want more and deserve this, but people keep giving you. Well, get rid of the people that's giving you the bare minimum. There's somebody waiting to give you exactly what you want and desire. But you first got to give it to yourself. That's like somebody saying, I want to get in shape. And they like, yeah, I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna get in shape. Yep, one more little, one more this, one more cocktail, one more this, one more this, one more this, and then they back on a shit for a week, and then they back on. What you're telling me don't match up to what you're saying. You don't have any discipline. Do you mean it? Because right now I just know that all right, you just saying that, girl, please, whatever. That's why when you tell somebody, hey, I'm not drinking, they like, girl, whatever. And they like, here, just come on, just have one more. And then you go, you don't stand firm in it because you don't want them nagging you, you don't want nobody teasing you, you don't want nobody doing all of these things. Like, yo, you gotta be okay. The first step is being okay with your decisions. Is some things gonna hurt? Yeah, we're healed. This is the thing. We are here to have this human experience, and with that comes real feelings. It's real feelings. Just don't let it get you to a place where now you bitter about it. Like, yo, this person ain't called me. He ain't called my son. I ain't talked to none of them. And I just was like, damn. After a while, I'm like, shit. I ain't speak to you since March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 7 months? It felt like 3 days. But we ain't talking 7, 8 months. At this point, I got to understand that was divine intervention. God said no. If somebody that you thought you couldn't go a day without talking to was okay without reaching out to you and, especially if they know what's going on, let it go. And don't feel no type of way about it. Like, literally, let it go. If you feel like you following them still, you making faces every time they out having a good time and you want them to be like looking for you and they ain't talking to you no more, unfollow that shit. Like, you don't want what you keep on forgetting is this is your world. Just like this is my world. I am the author, procreator. I'm not my, I'm the co-writer to this story. I could say, and everybody ain't got to die off. Some people moved to another country. Some people, went to wherever they went. But you can definitely write with a pencil so you could erase some shit. Cross it out. I don't know. Carry the one. I don't know what you got to do to understand that you can let go at any given moment and rewrite what you see fit for where you are right now. Because if I'm not going back, why do I keep looking that way? I'm only going forward. Matter of fact, make my neck stiff like I slept wrong so I can't even turn to see what's going on. I don't want to be able to do all of that. Keep me straightforward. I just want to be like this. We think that when we listen to like songs like Pack Light, that means just in romantic relationships. That means in general. Everything that you have on your back can't go where you're going. What are you going to like when I look at around even in the studio or at home and I'm like, if I was to intertwine lives with somebody, what are my non-negotiables that have to go with me? What are the things that I'm like, no, this is staying. Like we're going to have to, hopefully we can have me a big, closet area where I can, have a little sitting area. Certain things are staying. This and that and this, that can go. But this is staying, that's staying. This is like, I want to take an inventory of everything in my life. I used to feel like I was like not a hoarder, but I used to hold on to things knowing that this serves me no purpose anymore, knowing that I walked past it for 6 months, knowing I walked past it for a year. I haven't grabbed for it. I haven't even looked for it. Hide something from you. You gonna like, you gonna forget that shit was there. Rewrite your story as many times as you have to. You don't have to stay anywhere that you're not really poured into. You don't. God been trying to teach me that lesson for a long time. He's been showing me that you over here getting upset about somebody not telling you X, Y, and Z when they just telling you, they don't have to tell you what they didn't tell you. What it is they don't look at you the same way that you look at them. Yes, you would have called them first to say, hey girl, oh my gosh, let me share this new, you were not on there, you weren't on their top 5, and that's okay. Release people in love. You don't even have to. That's the thing. We hold on to the good memories, and it's like those memories don't have to disappear. Like they're still here. They're still here. 2 good memories 5 years ago doesn't mean you get to stay in my life. If the rest of the years is looking like shit, if the rest of the years I'm finding out shit on the internet, that is one thing about me. If I have to find something, and you know what, and I know that this is why a friendship just dissolved a year ago, but it dissolved way longer before that. If I have to find out something about a close friend in general population, that's like baby, wedding, very, very big, monumental things in your life. And I had to find out last, and X, Y, and Z. I don't even look at it like, oh, this person forgot to tell me. At the end of the day, I was not the person that they felt like they needed to share that information with, and I'm going to allow them to do that. That a couple years ago, that God tried to show me that before, and I was like, I was hurt. I was hurt because at the time, the what happened, the people would call me about everything. They would ask me everything, but then I'm learning shit, and I'm like, well, damn, it was a slap in the face. It was like, damn, I went from y'all calling, asking advice to nobody telling me this. But you don't know why people do what they do. You don't know why. Sometimes people don't tell you stuff because they don't want the truth about it. Not in that situation, but in general. Sometimes people don't tell you because they don't want to have to feel like, damn, you know what, I'm going to just sneak and do this. It could be that, or it could just be they don't see you how you see them. And you know what it showed me is that when I decide to do something new, when I decide to do something at all, I don't have to call a bunch of people just to have them in a know. Just for what? They don't need to know. And at the time, when it happened, that's not how I looked at it. But at the time, if a part of my love language, or a part of me feeling like, if I'm feeling like I'm not included and I'm the last to know, don't even tell me. Let people show you who they are and stop interrupting them. Thank you so much for joining me this week on Is It Tuesdays podcast. And I'm going to always encourage you to pour responsibly. And what that means is it's not that you're not pouring. It's looking at, that is it like this, or is it just you overflowing someone else's cup and now you're dehydrated? It's okay to put you first. It's okay to say, no, that doesn't work for me. That's not how I desire to be loved. I can ask for these things because I embody these things and I show up the way that I need to show up, and I'm expecting that from the people that's in my life. And once I realized that I was showing up with, oh, I thought about you and this is what I said and this is what, and doing all of these things, you gotta know your role so you don't overplay it. I'll see y'all next week.